Data breaches are on the rise, and millions of accounts are being stolen daily. So it's vital to know how to protect your passwords, because without proper defense, it's only a matter of time before you join that statistic. Luckily, in this video, I'll cover password tips, my recommended tools, and important ways you can secure your accounts, all without any technical skills. Let's go. Alright, cybercriminals can guess a weak password in literal seconds. So the first and easiest way to enhance your password security is to make them as strong as possible. Although it isn't as simple as coming up with one strong password and using it, or variations of it, across your different accounts. Each password must be unique and just as strong as the last to make sure your data is especially safe. The reality is, common passwords end up in databases. Here are some of the most common passwords used by Americans last year as a reference. Our password leak check tool reveals a staggering number of dark web exposures for these passwords, and a cybercriminal will try these first when attempting to hack an account. Worst of all, there are even memes about how common some of these passwords are, yet they are still used by thousands of people to this day. If you want to check your passwords, our tool is free, and nothing you enter gets stored, so give it a try after this video. If any of your passwords have been compromised or are weak, it's essential that you change them. The best way to create a strong password is by using a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols, and avoid any obvious patterns or common words too. Although if you're like me and have a lot of online accounts, you might think replacing them will take too much time.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
I get it. That's why I use a password manager. With it, I don't really need to do much aside from clicking a couple of buttons. It'll generate new and stronger passwords for me, and providers like NordPass can generate passphrases, which are easier to remember. However, the biggest benefit of a password manager is that you don't need to remember passwords. Everything is stored for you in a vault. It's all encrypted and virtually impossible to hack. It's not only the most convenient way to protect your passwords, but it's also one of the safest. If you're thinking about using a password manager, just make sure it meets the expected criteria first. So check that it has strong encryption and a zero-knowledge architecture. This means only you can view your passwords. Plus, if it's been independently audited, even better. I have two best password manager recommendations, NordPass and 1Password, which guarantee your passwords are safe. You'll also find their discount links in the description or through the barcode, so you can benefit from top protection and save some money too. On top of that, with a password manager, everything gets synced across devices. This means you can still update, manage, and access passwords from anywhere. And if you need a password, you don't have to manually type it out. That's what autofill is for. It automatically fills in your passwords and data on login pages and online forums. Plus, if you need to share any passwords, a password manager makes this much more secure. With it, you can either generate a unique link or directly send a password by entering the recipient's email. It's all encrypted and cannot be read by cybercriminals in transit. Although NordPass and 1Password do way more than just generic password management and generation. For example, both NordPass and 1Password let you see the health of your entire password ecosystem, alerting you to any weak, old, or reused passwords. That way, any vulnerabilities can quickly be spotted and fixed before they can get exploited by a cyber criminal. Alright, passkeys are another way of making sure your accounts are safe. These skip a password altogether and let you use a second device to authenticate your identity. These are safer and less prone to common password attack methods because there are no passwords involved at all. And if you decide to use a password manager, you can also create, save, and autofill passkeys all in one app. However, not all websites support passkeys yet. So another way to make your account security as airtight as possible is by setting up 2FA or MFA. This adds an extra step to the login process by using a code from an app or SMS to verify your identity. According to Microsoft research, 99% of compromised accounts did not use 2FA. So I recommend setting this up on your most important accounts first, like banking and email. That way, if a cybercriminal gets your password, they're still much less likely to access your account. Remember, a password manager can make all of this a lot easier. Most security features are integrated directly into the apps, so setting up 2FA is straightforward. And tools like 1Password's Watchtower will even highlight accounts that don't yet have 2FA enabled. If you do decide to invest in a password manager today, just be sure to use my discounts to save some money. Okay, now what happens when there are factors outside of your control, like a data breach or password leak? A strong password isn't going to save you then, right? Well, there are free tools like our own that you can use to manually check for data leaks. However, password managers have integrated real-time dark web monitoring. This checks whether any passwords or emails associated with your accounts have been shared or traded on the dark web. What's especially useful is that if anything is detected, you get notified instantly and can respond quickly. On top of that, some password managers help protect not just your passwords, but your identity as well. Take NordPass as an example. With email masking, you create a unique email address to use instead of your personal one. If one email starts getting too much spam, just delete it and create a new one. And my last piece of advice, especially if you're responsible for remembering your child's, little sister's, dad's, and grandparents' passwords, as well as your own, is to look into Password Manager family subscriptions. This is the safest and most cost-effective way to keep everyone's data secure. With NordPass and 1Password, you can easily control who has access to specific passwords and share data much more safely. Plus, each user still gets their own personal vault. Just don't forget the deals in the description include family and individual subscriptions. Let's be real. You can adopt secure password habits and update all of your passwords, but the easiest and safest way to store, manage, and create them is by using a password manager. They do all of the work for you and will even notify you as soon as your info is leaked or a password becomes outdated. I hope you've learned how to protect your passwords and what to do if you fall victim to a password leak. Stay safe and see you soon.